13th with our first runner, and the first American was 20th, so we didn't do too bad. But I mean, it was just a great experience. That is work. This I enjoy over here, but that FBI putting a team together to travel international. So I haven't spoken to Dan for about 15 years. I said, I'm coming through Truckee yesterday, and we had a lot of conversations driving through Truckee back in the day, and I called him up. Of course, I left a message on his phone, and he calls me back just as I'm hitting up here where you're gonna go out of. I just pulled over. We had about a 10 or 15 minute conversation, and that was the first time I got emotional about maybe not doing this next year. So yeah, it was just like, he's 85 years old, I think now. Anyway, so he sounded like he was 56 and 156 pounds. I mean, he did the Iditarod. He's done some stuff, He had 5 Irish draft horses jumping, and he was jumping 5 feet or something for a little bit, and then everybody changed, and the trainer wanted to move, and he gave the horses to the trainer and did something else. The guy's had a very full life, so he's encouraged us to do some things that make you stretch, but don't be afraid of doing them. And so you are the people that are doing that now, and that's why it's so cool right there. Okay. If Jerry's not here, I'd like to welcome you all for the president. If he's here, he can do it himself, but I haven't seen him here just lately. It is the 70th running of the ride. We thought about putting that on the buckle, and then we found out how much that cost, and we said, no, we'll pass. so maybe the 75th, they said, we'll put that on the buckle. We'd like to congratulate Western States Trail Foundation for purchasing this piece of property 2 years ago. And the board members, if you could just stand up and take a bow. Tony's here, a lot of them are here. Come on, Abby's here.
I'll be emeritus.
Kathy's over there. Frank Crumb's over there who's riding tomorrow. And anyway, thank you for saving this piece of property to do this is exactly what it's supposed to do. We appreciate it very much. Okay, we have 10 junior riders riding. And stand up if I call your name. Jax Belleberg, Tierney Belleberg, Ryan Ellis. Hey, stand up and wave, you guys. You're way back there. I'm checking you off the list. If you're not here, you're not riding, buddy. Kendall Groth, Alina Heldreth, Ariana Lengret, Addison Lico, Clara Shumry, Reagan Tanner, Amelia Vandermeer. That's pretty cool to have 10 juniors doing this. So they had a junior meeting today, and we were going to tell them, hey, what's up, and let them how it really is. And I said, hey, how many of you here are going for your second or third or fourth buckle? 8 of them stood up. And one of them's going for the first time. And I go, well, that's an exciting time. But so some of these juniors are pretty savvy, so don't cut them any slack out there. Say, hey, junior, get behind, or whatever it takes. And we told them the same thing to say about you when you were riding. So it's good. So our 2 girls have 8 junior buckles. It's pretty special. And that's pretty cool. One of them would have had 5 finishes instead of 4, but Dad didn't think her horse looked good, so we pulled him. And he was just drank some cold water at Robinson Flat. So I'm supposed to remind you, don't let them dive in on a hot day to the cold water, because they just stand there and start shaking, and then everybody thinks something's wrong, And it just takes to walking them a few minutes and to come out of it. But no, Dad pulled them. Just a reminder. Okay, so the junior horses have a J after their number, and their sponsors have a star after theirs. We're trying that first time, was my idea. I don't know if it's going to stay there, because if you change sponsors, are we going to be out there putting stars on horses, But the juniors have to ride with the sponsor. You know that, they know that. And if you see them behaving well and riding well, and then later they need a sponsor, and they ask you, you might remember, how did I see you riding earlier? So they need to be on their best behavior. So with that in mind, when we rode with our juniors 10 or 15 years ago, is that about right? 10, 15 years ago? We paid for their entry fee, and then we paid for their buckle. But now, first-time junior entries are paid for this year, thanks to Joe and Cindy Larkin. So there is a requirement for those juniors. They have to write a handwritten note of thank you if they start and if they finish, or if they don't finish. But they get their entry paid for. They need to send to their sponsors. Thank you for doing that. Roxanne Green is sponsoring first-time junior finish award buckles. So if it's first-time finishers and they're a junior, she buys their buckle and presents it on stage. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know a lot of other rides that do that. And then there's all kinds of things going on. Like we got 102 starters tomorrow. 2 of them decided not to go. So 102 are going to start tomorrow. It's a small field. That's kind of a good thing, bad thing. You know, it's going to be a great ride for you guys because there's less traffic on the trail. There's more places to park when you go to a vet check, all of the above. The bad thing is we've had 250 horses on this. And that's pretty cool, too, you know, when you see that massive horse flesh going to Auburn. We got 17 states represented here tonight. So if you stand up, if I call your state, Arizona. Anybody from Arizona here? Right here. Arkansas. We got somebody from Arkansas. We haven't had that last couple of years. Okay. Arkansas, cross them off. They're not here because it's mandatory. Colorado, we got somebody from Colorado. There we go. We went to Colorado this year. That's a long drive. I appreciate that. Idaho, anybody from Idaho? There we go. Very nice. Kansas, anybody from Kansas? Right here in the back. All right. Kentucky, we got a group from Kentucky here. Yep, there they are. Montana. Montana riders right here. North Carolina. There's a drive. Very good. New Mexico. Taos, New Mexico, right back there. Very good. Nevada. Do we call them out of state? Ohio. Oregon. Any Oregon riders make it? There's some Oregon riders here, and a couple of them stayed home because there's big fires in Oregon right now, and they literally couldn't leave their place because they had to stay there to fight the fire to save the place. That was 2 riders there. South Dakota. Anybody from South Dakota? There we go. Texas. All right. That's not a short drive either. Utah. There we go. All right. Good job. Washington. All right. There we go. Fires are in Washington and Oregon right now, and our air is clear. We're thankful for that. Okay, Californians. If you're from California, ride and stand up. This is a pretty mixed group from different places around the country. This is pretty impressive. Thank you. What'd you say, Dan? Woo! You said you can pull them from Idaho as fast as you can pull them from California? No, that's not true. Dan. Keep the rider finished listing up for California. No, that's not right. Okay. International riders. I'm going to destroy some names here. Marianne Leborg from France. Pretty cool. Alicia Zambraska from Lithuania. Yep, there you go. Garmin Romer, yeah, from the Netherlands. Natalie Paroli, New Zealand. Jack Bickerton, New Zealand. Okay. Wei Lim Paulsen, Norway. Way cool. Caroline Lindqvist from Sweden. I think she lives in Florida, right? And Nicole Thron from the United Kingdom. There we go. We have 2 crew members that came all the way from Eastern Canada, right? Nancy Zukowicz, Charlotte Tremblay, and Vincent's following her around somewhere. They came to ride with a borrowed horse or a leased horse a few years ago, and here they are. They keep coming back, and one try got her buckle, and it all started. They can't get it out of their blood then, right? Okay, hey, we have like to acknowledge this signature rider. Stand and stay standing for a second. Ken Campbell, Karen Donnelly, Aaron Glassman, Christina Jarvis, Gail Munch, Travis Underwood, and Nicole Wirtz. I don't know if we do enough to thank you, but really, our thanks for everything you guys do, and we appreciate it very much. It's this ride runs on donations. Your entry fee right now pays for about 20% of what it costs to put the ride on. So these folks just make a donation when they enter, and we encourage them, other people to do that. But all they get is the satisfaction of making a donation so that the ride keeps going. Thank you very much. We have a hearing impaired rider on the course with us this year. Did she hear me?
I'm reaching your lips.
There you go. I've been looking for you. All right.
I'm reading your lips. That's why I sit up front.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. What's your rider number? 62. She's going to have a vest on that says impaired hearing or deaf rider. Rider is deaf. and so there goes the story. How do you know when somebody's behind you would like to pass? So her horse lets her know. Yes. So if you come up and you see that vest, please, day or night, it's all lit up at night with reflection. But and your glow bars will reflect off it. You don't have to turn your light on. And she's sensitive. She's ridden this. She's qualified. But we have to be sensitive to the fact that some people ignore us when we ask to pass. But we got to make sure that they can hear us also and let them know that we would like to pass. And Tony told me just call her up and talk to her. Anyway, what color's your horse?
He's bay, and we're in all pink tack.
Bay with all pink tack.
I have a letter for Chuck Stalley.
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Somebody has to file a complaint by now, right? Pony Express. That's a slow complaint. Could you imagine sending a letter via the Pony Express? I don't have a lot of confidence in our mail today where I'm sending it. These poor people just want to go to bed, get some sleep tonight, right? Tevis riders, crews, and friends. This is a note from the Western States Trail Foundation Board of Governors, delivered to you now by the Pony Express. 70 years ago, it was a much smaller group of riders who questioned if modern horses and riders were as tough as the Pony Express riders of 1861. Could modern horses and modern riders cross the mountains in the same 100 miles in one day? There were no vet checks, no crews. One of the original riders carried an anvil, some iron, and farrier tools. Which of you riders are carrying an anvil tomorrow? He also wore Levi's. 70 years ago, those original riders crossed the mountains and proved that modern riders and modern horses were as tough as the Pony Express riders and horses of the 1860s. Now you are all together in this meadow. Tomorrow you will all want to prove yourselves, and we tough enough for the horse, and are we tough enough for the trail? Is our horse tough enough, and are we tough enough for the trail? Let me answer. You are tough enough, and your horses are tough enough. So make your final preparations tonight and get some rest. Tomorrow, get up before dawn and ride westward with your horse. Ride safely and cross the mountains, because we want to see you all in Auburn Sunday morning. This is my first Pony Express delivered mail ever in my life. Yeah. Yeah, it's a wonder he even got here. Okay, now we're getting a little more serious. If we haven't recorded your number in the morning coming out of your pins, okay, you're not in the ride. In other words, nobody gets a head start by the end of the night. So we want to check those off when you come by. At 4:55, right, Tony? We're going to open pin 1, single file. People are going to walk by Tony and his crew, and they'll walk toward the starting line. Pass through the start chute and give your number to the start officials. Please use single digits like 95 for 95. Take your time and spread out along the road to avoid having to sit on the road and wait for the 5:15 start 1 mile down the road. That's the release time. It says here it's a 2-mile ride or walk. It's actually about 1.5 miles. It's an easy 20-minute walk. You know, if you got a big walker, it could go a little faster. Okay, so with that in mind, the Cup Committee would like to remind you with me, with the two of us would like to remind you, lack of control of your horse on the way to the start, or excessive passing or jostling of horses is poor sportsmanship. And I put in here, remember, poor sportsmanship can get you taken out of the ride. So the Cup Committee would say we would not allow that to happen. So everybody, it's good sportsmanship out of here. Show us what you got from about Forest Hill to the finish line, not from here to 89 crossing. Okay, a bridle and a breast collar, that's a new rule last year. You need that. If you have a ear clip with your number on it, you can clip it to your breast collar, because your breast collar is required. If you're questionable on your bridle, show it to somebody. Show it to Tony and his crew. Show it to me tonight, so we can say, yeah, that looks good. So if you come riding in, at 65 miles with just a rope halter on, and somebody's going to talk to you about it. I don't know what they're going to say, but you need a bridle, not just a rope halter on your horse. The reason is we've had problems keeping all the horses under control. And we want to increase the control for safety reasons. It's all about safety. So let's get something with some leverage on it. And if you have any questions about it, show it to us tonight. If you haven't, some people that had questions already sent us pictures, and we either okayed them or said no. There's 2,000 pounds of ice been donated, and it's deployed to the vet checks. So when you come into a vet check and you're going to try to bring your horse down and it's warm tomorrow, the water there may be tepid. It may be room temperature. And we know that colder water would get them faster, but it's almost impossible to get this much water out for all these horses. And so we've added ice, so there should be an ice chest somewhere nearby. Not so much in the hour check, because your crew can take ice to you there. You can buy ice in Forest Hill. But the free ice that we're providing is in big white ice chests, and it's in all the stop and go checks where the crews can't go. So how do you use ice? I would suggest that there's a cup there, a little bigger than their drinking cups here, or you grab a handful of it and you just come massage your horse's neck with it. Because I would, please, don't let the volunteers that are doing this for the first time come up and start sticking a big bunch of ice on the butt of your horse. You know, start with the front end and work to the back end. They're supposed to ask you, can I put some ice on your horse? Okay, so you can say, hey, please, I'm okay. I don't need the ice. Or can you find some ice for me? That's how I want the conversation to go. And the couple that won it last year appreciated the ice when they got it at 11 o'clock at night. It was still very warm. And it makes a difference when all you have is kind of a warm water to cool your horse. Forest Hill vet check crewing clarification. Explain the no saving, receiving places at Forest Hill policy. You can leave a vehicle at Forest Hill, but you can't spread your stuff out. You can't go in and ribbon off a spot. The reason is you're going to do that for yourself, and you're going to get there 2 hours after the person that got there first, and they needed that spot to crew their horse, and they would be gone by now. And so we've already gone through this. We've had some people come in, and we're a little difficult to understand this rule, but when they went in to park a vehicle, they wanted to park several vehicles in an area, you know, and we worked that out with them. We had a Cup committee member there when that opened up on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. So it's a little late to tell you about that now, but at least you know about it. Robin's Flat is in the traditional campground. No vehicle pass is required to get your crew up to the vet check. Okay, it says refer to your e-packet for the flow of crews and supplies to Robinson Flat. So 6 o'clock, we start allowing crews to drive up, unload their stuff, park on the way down, and then go back up and get their stuff. So from 6 to 8, that works slick. At about 8:30, the first horse is expected in any time. So we try to stop it at 8 o'clock there. So it's 8 or 8:15, whenever they can get that traffic stopped. Horses start coming in. But a school bus then makes the journey up and down. It's about 3 miles from down below. So you go park at the flat, get on the school bus, put your stuff underneath, and then it makes about a 25-minute up and down run for the rest of the day. So Mosquito Ridge Road, a few people drive around Mosquito Ridge Road. It's a long drive from Forest Hill.
One of the speakers went out.
Okay, listen carefully. Okay, Mosquito Ridge Road is available for crews this year, and it hasn't been a couple times in the last few years. So if you're going to use it, drive safely. It's a dangerous road, and if you drive over the speed limit at all, it is extremely dangerous. We have lost a volunteer over the side before, helicoptered him out. He lived, but he had a brand new pickup and it's 500 feet down before he stopped. So I'm just saying that the whole thing can get dangerous real quick if you're not careful. So if you're talking to your crews, tell them to drive safely, especially tomorrow. We placed water troughs at the bottom of El Dorado Canyon before you come up to Michigan Bluff. There's no water on the ride up to Michigan Bluff at all. So there used to be a seep there where people used to stop, but that hasn't been there for at least 5 or 6 years lately. Clarification on information at the checkpoint data card and the ride start. We recommend that you are mounted and ready to start your 1 mile walk, jog, warm up, trek to the official start you got to get in there by 4:50 into the.
So the pens open at 4:30. We release the pens at 4:55.
Okay, pins are open at 4:30, and we release them at 4:55. 5:30 out means the last horses that need to clear down here is 5:30 in the morning. Some people are hanging back or their track wasn't quite right, and they come back to their trailer, and we're saying, hey, we're on a tight schedule here. We have to clear this place by 5:30 because Soon after that, all of these rigs are going to start their engines and start driving up the road you're riding on. And that's no fun at all. So 5:30, you need to be out of here, headed down toward the start, and hopefully down by the start by 5:30.
Check, 5:15.
5:15 where, here?
They have to leave here by 5:15.
Yeah, you have to leave here by 5:15 to leave down there by 5:30.
We're taking
Right,
their numbers right.
right.
That's where their numbers get taken. That's right here.
Yeah, their numbers get taken when they come out of the pins right here. Absolutely. If the card shows a cutoff time for a stop, you must be there by that time. At Robinson Flat and Forest Hill, you must be down, recovered by the time, the cutoff time. So it's different for the stop and goes than it is the hour stop. Cal 2 is now a hard 12 p.m. midnight. So you got it. If you're having problems and you're riding on the back end of this, 12 p.m. midnight in order to finish, or your overtime and get pulled out. Red dot program. So a couple of times we've had some horrendous wrecks on this ride, and they blocked the trail, and ambulance is coming to help somebody save their life, and you get held up behind that. So you're only a half mile from the next stop, and you're held up for 20 minutes. You ride in and you say, is there a chance I could get a red dot and an extension on my ride so that I can make the next cutoff? So the Cup Committee has little red dots. They're going to put them on your card, and they're going to say plus 15, plus 10. They're pretty stingy. Okay, they're going to only give you that, and it'll say to the next 2 stops or the next 1 stop. But always, you have to be to Auburn by 5:15 in the morning. Okay, does that make sense, what I just told you? All right, it's a red dot policy. Okay. The vehicles here that are going to start and leave, don't start your engine until after 5:30. 5:30 is the time. You'll hear everything come alive here. If you're in a vet check with porta potties, we expect you to use them because there's spectators here and there's cameras here, and they do write magazine articles about this ride, and they show the pictures. We had to come up with a reason there. Riders are responsible for the actions of their crews, okay? And so be sure your crew is going to observe the rules as posted on the website in the 26 rule book. Be careful who crews your horse. So if you ride into one of these stops that doesn't have a crew and somebody says, can I help you? And you assume that that's a volunteer, they need to have a volunteer shirt on. Think about that. Or somebody just walked in and started crewing your horse. Okay, so then we say, you know, hey, Joe, you're out of the ride because you had a crew doing that. And you say, but it wasn't my crew. Well, we don't know whose crew it is. If they got a shirt on, they got to stay there and help everybody. That's a volunteer, a definition of a volunteer. Definition of a crew is a guy without a volunteer shirt on, and he comes over and he tries to help the front runners because his rider's coming along about 8th or 9th. Think about that story a little bit. There's no ties at the finish line, so we're going to flip a coin if you ride together holding hands, right, at the finish line. Giving up and asking for trail. If somebody rides up behind you and says, hey, when it's possible, I'd like to get by. You're walking up to Devil's Thumb, and, you know, everybody walks up a little different pace. That's the main place, but there's a lot of Devil's Thumbs on this ride. So, yes, we're going to pull aside and let you come by as soon as we got time. Finish line protocol. Your crew can assist you from the timed finish to the stadium finish. Okay? Your crew can walk with you and assist you if needed. Can they pull your tack? Yes. Can they put the tack back on so you can go around under the stadium? Yes, because you're going to have to ride around that and come in at the stadium, you know, on the horse. Clear enough? Okay. 40 minutes from the time you cross the timed finish until you have to meet the pulse criteria at the stadium, right? But you have a full hour to finish your check. Top 10 horses must stay on the fairgrounds or an approved area attached to the fairgrounds so that the Cup Committee can come by and check on your horse from the time you finish until you show for the Hagen Cup the next morning. Or don't show for the Hagen Cup the next morning. And you are responsible for all the products that you can put on your horse. Are they going to be tested? Guaranteed in the top 10, and maybe if it's not in the top 10. So we're under the AERC rule there. We just don't allow foreign substances in your blood. So several Board of Governors are riding. I'd like them to stand because it's pretty cool. Heather? No. We looked at Nicole the other day. We looked at Heather the other day. Nicole. So now we're doing Frank Crum. Anybody else here? Right here we go.
Jaya
and
May.
Jaya is here. So we have John Perry. Yeah, John's riding his horse somewhere. And
Krista.
Krista Turnich. Very good. Is she here? Yeah. Look, yeah, there you go. So there's five of 28 people are riding their own ride, and they have paid the price this year by helping put this thing together, both financially and physically. So when you see them out there and you recognize them, just thank them for making this thing go. Thank you very much. Tony's the head of the Cup Committee. He's going to give you the real scoop now.
Welcome. This is a great ride. I want to wish all the riders good luck. My name's Tony Benedetti, if you don't know me. Chairman of the Cup Committee. It's basically the Rules Committee. But the reality is what we do is we try to make sure that all the problems go away. We make everyone adhere to the rules, but we want everyone to finish this ride. I want to introduce my Cup Committee real fast. Some are here, some aren't, but Luann Holmeson Thomas, Sue Robinson, Lila Abdul Rahim, Jennifer Rader, Aaron McChesney, over here, Jerry Estebez, Lori Olson, Marissa Darty, Roger Yohe, Bill Johnson, Shelley Hatfield, and Bob Spohr. Apparently most of them are down in Auburn, getting ahead of the sleep. Chuck, so that's my Cup Committee stuff. The other thing I really do is get this ride started. So Chuck said that he was going to go through all the details, and then I told him I was going to fill in all the gaps. So, because if the ride gets screwed up, it falls on me. Or the start gets screwed up, it falls on me. Like Chuck said, and I just want to reiterate, we open the pins at 4:30, so you're welcome to come down there and get in the pins. There's pen 1 and pen 2. Pen 1 walks down the road. Pen 2 enters from just that walkway down into the stadium or the vet area. And pen 2 walks up to the gate, and that'll be closed, and I'll have someone monitoring it. And after pen 1 empties, pen 2 will go right behind them. You don't lose any time. Literally, you guys will see pen 1. The last horse in pen 1 will be right in front of pen 2. So the pens open at 4:30. We will start releasing pen 1 at 4:55. Most of you guys know the routine. Engines. So don't have your crew start any engines till 5:30. You will hear some engines starting before 5:30. Do not consider that we all get to start now. Those will be official ride vehicles that are getting out of here before. And for you guys, the crews, when you're leaving, Pam Stalley is going to be the first truck leading you out because we have to load up the stuff at the starting line, and then she's going to lead first, and all you guys just follow her. So when you come down the road at 5:30, just be aware. Just watch the volunteers there, and we'll tell you what to do. When you go through when we release the pens, it's no passing. You guys know that. And the last thing I have is a half hour after this meeting, we're going to go and start collecting all the troughs. So we're going to dump the water in those troughs. So if you need any last minute water, grab it, because a half hour after this meeting, the troughs get dumped because they have to go down the mountain for later in the day. And I think that is all I have, so I'm going to pass this on to Mike Perales. Yeah, okay, so when we release the pin, you walk down the road, and it's timed perfectly. So it takes a little short of 20 minutes to walk down there, and you have 20 minutes. So you'll get down there no problem at all. And so does that answer your... Oh, you. I know where you're going. Heather and Jeremy are going to be the leaders in Pen 1, sorry. Yeah. Oops. And we'll get 2 people to lead Pen 2, but you'll know. They'll be the first people in Pen 2. We haven't figured that out yet. And there's a question back there. What time is Pen 2 released? We'll open it. We'll be there. As soon as you see Pen 1 emptying, start rev up the engine on the horse. Okay.
Tony, you're asking them to say their number as they go by.
Oh yeah. So when you come, they'll all know that. So when you come by, we're going to be asking you to give us your numbers. Just call out your number and make sure we repeat it back to you. Okay? That's a simple way of doing it. You'll say it, and we'll say it back to you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Tony. Hey, we're very lucky because the World Cup is over. Because if it was on this weekend, who'd be watching it? Right? We'd be watching the live stream from this. So anyhow, welcome again to the 7th edition of the Tevis Cup. I'm proud that we have 12 veterinarians from 4 different states and Australia. And we have the multiple treatment vets, hopefully they're not needed, from Loomis Basin Equine Medical Center down in Penryn and Loomis. So I'll go over a few things quickly because I know you guys have been here for a while. I just want to talk about 2 studies that we're having. You may have noticed that there was a camera at the check-in, and that's a company called Slape. And that's we're investigating because the Western States Trail Foundation always has research projects. And so we have agreed to this research project regarding gait analysis in the field, and we're going to see if this is actually possible. It's not something we're going to necessarily do for endurance, but to understand how gait analysis can work actually live in the field. Can it be done? And it's a fascinating process where we use a phone, and then it analyzes the gait, looks at several different structures on the horse, the head, the tuber sacrali, and the tuber coxae parts of the horse, and it actually records that, and then we send it upstream, up to the cloud, and it comes back down with some interesting information. So it's just the very earliest stages. We're going to try using it also at different vet checks, and we're going to see how rough terrain or shadows and even nighttime can be affected, or how that can affect gait analysis. So you'll see that going on. The second study we just started, that'll be out of Dr. Langdon Fielding's group. They're going to be looking at those horses that are pulled. Hopefully it's very few. However, those that receive fluids, we will be looking at the effect of potassium, one of the electrolytes, the addition to the fluids that they're giving, the first 10 liters. So if you are pulled, it's not mandatory, but if you are pulled, you'll have free blood work, and the first 10 liters will be free. They want to try to entice people to join the study. They have done work with with sodium and calcium, so now they'd like to finish this off. We have enough horses, hopefully, to finish the study. So it's very important. Thank you for considering if, unfortunately, you visit the treatment group. So, a few things on the housekeeping side. When you get to the vet check, have your card ready. Don't hand that sweaty piece of plastic and try to, while the secretary, the scribe is trying to hold onto a clipboard and open it up and, get that card out of there, and we're holding this plastic, and we're trying to be efficient, and we want you guys to be efficient too. I just want to emphasize that Dan will be at High Camp. If there's a problem with your horse at 89, or if there's a problem with your horse as you're approaching High Camp before you start up the hill, please stop before the hill or stop at 89, and then Dan will drive back to you, or they can bring the horse from 89 up to Palisades at the bottom of the hill. So, last year we had a laceration on a horse and went all the way up to the hill. You don't have to jog your horse, but it is critical that you are there because we will want to ask you questions on how things are going. You know your horse best. Those are the things we want to talk about. Remember that cutoff times for Robinson Flat and Forest Hill is when you pulse down. So it's 12:30 p.m. for Robinson and 8:45 p.m. for Forest Hill. Okay? Second page, we're moving fast here. Mandatory, Tevis is at the forefront of equine endurance welfare. So we 1 to 2 hours after you stop or finish the ride, you will need to come back for a recheck. It will not affect your completion. It is just to make sure everything's going well. Come back 1 to 2 hours into the stadium after your finish. You've completed. We have caught some horses that are just kind of on the edge of having some issues. So it is a good idea that we look at your horse one more time. We'll ask you, we'll listen to the heart, listen to the gut sounds, ask you some questions. Thank you, that's very important. I'll remind, I think Tony or Chuck mentioned it, top 10 riders. Remember, no medication from the time you finish to the time you show at Hagen Cup. That's really important because that can get you a little bit of trouble. Even if you don't show, do not give medication. Every top 10 horse will be drug tested, whether they show or not. So that's a very important thing to remember. So now that's all the housekeeping things. I just want you guys to remember that you are here at the very birth of endurance. This is where it all started. All the history's here in this forest, on this trail. And so enjoy it. See the beauty in it. I know you're going to get wrapped up in the ride, but don't miss the beauty around it. And so it's important that we ask management, we ask the veterinarians, we ask the volunteers to remember that Tevis spirit of helpfulness and that we all fulfill our responsibility of serving our riders with wisdom and charity and compassion. And for the riders, we also want us to remember that you want to show that Tevis spirit of etiquette and sportsmanship and kindness. So on that note, I want you guys to have a wonderful ride and good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Perales. We did have a raffle today, and somebody's going to win something. I hope it brings good luck. And it's a horseshoe. So it goes to Kathleen Webb. Are you here? There you go. I don't think they expect you to put this on your horse, but the winner. And thank you. And we appreciate your time tonight for being so attentive. And we want to see you all in Auburn tomorrow with a completion. Thank you.